Commercialization in sports has four main points that I want to talk about today. First, what ethical issues have emerged from commercialization in sport? Second, how has commercialization in sport exploited athletes at various levels of competition? Third, has sport been used to promote economic purpose to the determinant of ethical values? And fourth, where do we go next? Before all that, let's look at what commercialization is. According to Ken Reed, who has written many books and articles about commercialization in sports specifically, commercialization is the process by which a new product or service is introduced into the market. It is often broken up into multiple phases: the introduction phase, the mass production phase, and then eventually the adoption phase. Commercialization is when companies post ads at different sporting events to promote their business, while the professional sports team will make money off of the advertisements. This chart I found posts a few different advantages and disadvantages to commercialization sponsorships in sports. Some ethical issues have emerged within the commercialization of sports. As you can see in this little cartoon, the player is weighed down by the commercialization and the feeling of need to play well to earn money through his commercialization instead of just playing the sport well to play the sport. This has been a huge problem for a lot of different sporting athletes throughout the years. How has commercialization in sport exploited athletes? Well, as you can see in this picture of Minnesota Lynx guard Maya Moore, below her number you see a Boost Mobile symbol. That is an example of some commercialization in sport. It has actually been a very positive thing for the WNBA to have advertisements like those on their jerseys. It has brought in a lot more viewers, better ratings, and a lot more money to the programs, which help female athletes have the chance to continue their athletic careers after college. Commercialization can also cause some negative aspects. This is a picture of Mona Davis, who pitched for the Mid-Atlantic team in the Little League World Series 2 years ago. She was a female playing in a male-dominated sport, which is a good thing, but after she was done here, her life completely changed. She was interviewed like crazy. She was in multiple different ads, which may have been good things, but it also may have been bad things because she lost a major part of her childhood based on that. As you can see in this picture of a standard breakdown from the Olympics a few years back, only 24.4% of the time a person was viewing what they thought was the Olympics, they were actually seeing events or action. It was mostly commercials or breaks in the action. Has commercialization affected recreational sport? Yeah, 100%. I think there is no doubt that it has. Ken Reed put it very well, in my opinion. He said, in effect, the joy of sport is being hijacked and spit out as just another form of mass culture entertainment. What he means by that is a lot of recreational or especially youth sports are being so overly commercialized that people are losing the enjoyment of it and aren't being able to just go out, do the activity because they want to or because they enjoy to. They are feeling the need to become great at a sport because that's what today's culture asks of you. Where do we go next? That's a very important question. I think commercialization in sport is not a completely bad thing. I just think it needs to be done within a certain parameters. Like for the WNBA, as you see again here, it's been a very good thing. It has increased their ratings. It has increased the profit of the company as a whole. It has allowed these women to play in sports that they love after college. It gets bad when the reason people are playing or the reason a show or a game is being shown is because of the money aspect of things. And I think that's where we need to go next. We need to get back to doing a sport for the love of the sport and the enjoyment of the sport and learning from the activity rather than playing the sport to get money or get scholarships or to try become the next LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Tom Brady. This is another picture I saw that I thought was very interesting. As you can see, the athletes that have just won medals at probably the Olympics aren't holding up their flags or anything like that. They are holding up their brand. And I feel like that's a really good example of commercialization in sports, that the great athletes have to give credit to their brand that they have contracts with because that's what they wore or that's who is paying them money to get there. That's not how sports should be. Sports really should be about the love of the sport. In wrapping up, I want to share two different comments from Michael Keekley, who wrote in the Huffington Post about the commercialization of amateur sports. He said it's a good thing at points because it creates otherwise unaffordable recreational sports to be affordable to the public, such as a local Baskin Robbins or Dunkin' Donuts securing uniforms for a youth sports team. There's also major negatives to this aspect. College basketball and football programs effectively just rent star players for a year or two before sending them to pros, which I think is a very bad thing for sports as a whole. One and done athletes shouldn't be a thing, I don't believe. I think they are student athletes when they are in college, and that's what they should be treated as, not as professional players that are just waiting that year before they can go into the pros. So thank you. That is my video about the commercialization of sports. I think it's a good thing within moderation, but in today's day and age, it has gotten way out of hand. Thank you.